What's up, y'all? And welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we whatever. My name
What,
is Pharaoh.
bitch?
We're joined by our other cousin Lee. Lee, how'd you like this episode?
I actually was really tuned in this
This was a good
episode.
one.
I love this one. I really enjoy the mega legs in general, but I feel like before even knowing it was going to be a mega leg, I was like seated. Like
Yep.
it was some good roll. It was a good roll. Like I felt great detour. It's like the team dynamics really shifted. We saw a lot of just the airport
New faces,
drama.
new people at the top, the airport drama.
Yes, because we haven't really got to experience the airport drama like that while recapping. So I'm excited. Like it was really fun to see like the franticness of it all. So
I loved it too. Yay! Let's get into it. So they were in Bangkok, and their first goal is to fly to Vietnam, and then you have to bus ride to Symptom, a place. So you're gonna fly to Vietnam, and you're gonna bus ride there. But first, period. But first, you have to go to the agency, flight agency.
Yeah, travel agency,
and get your motherfucking plane tickets. So boom, we're starting off with Victor and Jocelyn, and let me pull up these motherfucking pictures. Period. Victor and Jocelyn.
Victor and Jocelyn was struggling this episode. Not my mama and daddy.
Well, let's start positive.
Look at them at the bottom. They were number one. This is crazy. Rob and Corey really the only team that kind of maintained their area that they were in because they're at the top of the pack.
Ashley stayed in fifth. Now they're in fourth.
Oh, period. Well, I'm saying they moved up. So, like, I'm saying, like, Rob and Corey have been top two, now top three. They're still up there.
Yeah. Everybody else who was up there fell.
Right. Stephen and Lee, Joel and Garrett, Chow. It's new leaders on the field.
I will say I'm not that surprised because I did feel like the team I was most confident in being at the top was Rob and Corey. A part of me did feel like Jocelyn and Victor. I was like, okay, you know, they were able to speak some of the language, and it just seemed like I think they're a good team in general. But I also noticed, like, okay, they can easily eat this up a little bit, you know? So I'm not too surprised. And then Greg and John, a part of me has always felt like, I don't know. They're not eating it up. Last season, when we had DX and Claire and Molly and Emily and Louis and Michelle, I was like, oh, okay, y'all are, you know, just monster teams. Off the rip, I already think y'all are very good. But these teams, I'm kind of like, okay, y'all are all
I think they're all kind of on the same playing field, honestly.
All kind of even. Yep. So, boom. Victor and Jocelyn, they leave first, and they mentioned how they're doing this for their daughters. I don't remember them mentioning their daughters till now. I was like, oh, they got daughters. Mm-hmm. So that was cute. Robin and Corey are right behind them. So both of them go to the travel agency. They speak to the people, and the people get them on the same flight. So these first four teams, which is them two, Greg and John, and then Morgan and Lena, they all get tickets to the 145 flight. Period. Mm-hmm. Ain't that up? I'm thinking it's all good and Gucci. Boom. Well, it kind of is. Well, maybe.
For now.
Then the next group of people start flooding in, and we see that the next flight is 7:55. I was like, damn. Like, y'all are going to be 6 hours apart? You're never winning.
I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is like unfair as fucking shit because the teams who are 6 hours ahead is of course going to just stay 6 hours ahead the entire time.
Yep.
Luckily, they did the little time intervals that evened it up. But I also just slightly felt like it really does just take away a lot of the points of them getting their own flights because we see them, you know, frantically trying to get the earliest flight just for it to only be a 15-minute difference when they get there. And you don't even have to be on the first flight to get the first ticket. Well, we'll see. And Lee ate that up. But it's like, I don't know. It just takes away some of the, like, even if they were 6 hours ahead, and I was like, damn, that's kind of unfair. I would have, like, low-key rather had seen it because I'm like, well, it connects to the drama that we're getting with the flight. If they're going to just get intervals when they arrive, then none of the flight drama really matters.
What is the point? I don't understand. I
wouldn't care what flight I'm on, bitch. I'm 15 minutes behind the other two teams anyway.
Yeah.
Which I guess a 15-minute difference could be big. But what we see,
and you get time to rest. You get time to rest. I remember watching Concreta Chat. Louis and Michelle, they were talking about how the flight, there's so many different things. You're tired from being on the flight. You don't really get to relax, and you had to wait for so long. But the people who are on the first flight, they can pull up and chill.
This was the big advantage this time. I think that was the biggest thing from it. It's like the people who get there earlier, you get to sleep. Whereas, Stephen and Lee, they got there at a later time and got an earlier departure, and they only had 10 minutes to get ready. So it's like, ooh, they were literally running on no sleep, and it's a mega leg.
Yeah.
So I see that benefit, but still, it's like.
And I hate that it was 15 minutes. Let's get there though. So the rest of the people literally were all getting on the 7:55 flight. That was the next flight over based on the travel agents that they had went to, which were the same two that the other two groups went to. Until Joe and Ian pulled up, and they stay, and it's like, it might be a little bit of luck, but they consistently get like positive points. I'm like, they're just so good at this. They're really just good at Amazing Race, I feel. Because Joe and Ian get there and they end up with another travel agent other than the two that have been going. And that travel agent was able to get them on a
step up, baby.
Yeah, and they were like, whatever you need to do. And he was like, if we do this, you got to go now. And they're like, good.
He was like, 150. Are you ready? Can you go now?
And they were like, we can go now. So they got a flight for 150. And Joel and Garrett heard that tea. And they went right over there and also got a flight for 150. So Joe and Ian and Joel and Garrett got a 150 flight. The first four got a 145 flight, and then everyone else isn't leaving until 7:55. No, I'm holding. None of it really fucking matters.
Because they're gonna be 15 minutes apart any goddamn way.
Okay, literally. So at the airport, the 7:55ers get that tea. Todd and Ashley find out, and Todd and Ashley are like, Anna Lee, girl, Texas, come over here.
Why do you call that girl Texas?
Texas. And they told her, and Ashley was like, I love Ashley and Anna Lee low key because they just fun.
They're fun.
Ashley was like, why they got a 150 flight? Anna Lee was like, a 150 flight.
They was confused.
That was hilarious.
150.
150. How the fuck did that happen?
They was
probably mad because we were literally the same travel agency. We told y'all get your shit together.
Like, bitch, you started at 150, so why am I on 755? You ain't got the same paper as they had. Come on now.
I'm assuming like the man Joe and Ian talked to probably called and was like, did anybody not get on this flight? Did anybody miss their flight or have to cancel? And then can you get on? Because the 7:55 people were acting like that was it. Like, there's no more flights. There's nothing else. I would be pissed. So boom, the first four people flight, Rob and Corey, Morgan, Lena, and them, their flight gets delayed. So they're not even going to be on the first flight. Now, Joe and Ian and Garrett and Joel have ate it up so much that they are on the first flight leaving.
They kind of ate that.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't matter. So
I guess the sleep deprivation really changes the outcome, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna really be.
It doesn't, because Anna Lee and Steve got 0 sleep in one. Or was the first, like, please. Mm-hmm. I guess it could. It's still
like at some point, like, ooh, okay, I'm tired. Like shit. Because that basically means they're going to be. They departed. It looked like they departed around night, and they arrive in the morning. And then these mega legs, they usually end at night. So they're going to be still going.
So they get to Vietnam. The first two groups. They get to Vietnam. They get on that bus and they head to the dock. And we find out at the dock there's a sign and it says they don't open till 5:45 in the morning, and it's not 5:45 in the morning yet. So these are your tickets to start off this next portion of the leg, and there's like 3 5:45 tickets, so we think. There's like 4 6 o'clock tickets, and then the other are 6:15. So it's 15-minute intervals. I feel like they could have based the intervals on the distance, the time distance between the flights you got. If Joe and Ian put in that work to get the 150 flight, I feel like they should get a bigger gap. And then the other two flights can be like closer to each other. Like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be an hour and 55 minutes how it actually was, but it could be, okay.
But that's why I think, honestly, the flight thing should just be coordinated like it was during the COVID era.
Might as well be. If it's not
it's like even then what you just said, it's like, I mean, Joe and Ian really didn't put in any work to get a 6-hour flight ahead. They just kind of went to the right person. So it's like I just don't think it should be a factor really. Because I hate that it's not talked up, because not like people are just like, oh yeah, it's the flights that are really, saving American race. But it's just that like a lot of drama was surrounded that, and I was kind of excited. And then we got to the 15-minute part, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe they should just let the flights be and not have a mediator.
I think it should just be organized. It should be, if we're going to Vietnam, you are going on a private flight to Vietnam, and then we'll just leave in 15-minute intervals there. Don't have them catch a flight, show the drama with it being 6 hours behind when the 6 hours don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Just get them to Vietnam together.
Just skip that whole part, Loki. If anything,
that's basically what I'm saying. Like, and that's what I've noticed. Like, last season, it was the game would start off them getting off the plane and starting it, and they would always leave in these groups. I think that's potentially better. I mean, we'll have to see it play out, and we haven't been watching that many recent seasons, so I don't know how much it really affects versus being it organized and leaving in those groups versus this. But I'm just thinking, like,
it sucks because I remember as a kid when my mom would watch, an exciting part would be when it would catch my eye. It would be people on the phone or people, can I use your phone? And they're using someone else's phone, and it's like, we need to get on this flight now. We need to get on this flight at 2, and then they succeed, and then they get a flight that's way earlier than everyone else, and they move along, and now they're in the lead. And I kind of this wasn't that same situation. You're right, they just got lucky. But if there is a situation in the future where they're literally courted, like figuring out how to get a better flight, and then they succeed, I would want them to be rewarded for that. It's a race, and they ate that up. Sorry. This time wasn't a good example, though, I agree. But there were times in the past where I've seen it happen. But I remember Luis and Michelle, they said that the show didn't like that because the drama goes away when someone's 8 hours ahead. They're winning.
Yeah.
You got to add our flight. But it's like, that's all. It's also a race. And we know we're supposed to be getting flights for a race. So it's kind of like, I don't know what happened to that. I can't get a cab, fuck. Or what happened to that? Fuck, we need to get a taxi. We need to get a taxi. And it, like, I don't know. I like that energy. So it kind of sucks to not have it, but also
I also see the cons of someone just being 6 hours ahead, and it's a race between these people who are 6 hours ahead versus everyone else who's at the bottom. So
get a 6 hour ahead flight. That's why I was like, get that shit, get that flight, boo. But I see it, especially for a TV show. Like, we know they're winning. What now? You're showing us a whole mega leg, and they're not competing with anybody. They're at the pit stop, and they're in Vietnam still. Like, damn, fuck, in the water. So boom, they buses come and they see the tickets, so they start all getting the tickets. So Joe and Ian and Joel and Garrett both get 545s. Corey and Rob also get a 545 ticket. We think those are the only three, and then everybody else starts coming in. And Victor and Jocelyn, Morgan and Lena, and Greg and John all get the 6 a.m. And then Steve and Anna Lee pull up with the rest of the other teams, the Scragglers. And Steve and Anna Lee, she sees them and she's like, damn, it's just 6 and 6:15 no more. So she goes through all of the tickets and she finds a 545 one in there that was mixed in with the 6 and the 6:15s. And so they end up on the 545 team, which really gives them an advantage. It seems like it won't because it's 15-minute interviews, but this next little challenge is like, if you're the first ones there, you can really get going. So it really ended up helping. Her meticulousness really, really helped. And that was good. She had a diary about it. I loved it. I really liked it.
Yeah, I love this from her. I really love Anna Lee this episode. It's giving, girl, if they're calling for the challenge, girl, go on the motherfucking challenge. Please. Help Luis. Go help Luis with the Challenge USA 3, Anna Lee. He needs it, baby. I also, this is what Morgan and Lena was, basically saying, we're about to use this express pass, this leg. It's getting used.
Yeah.
Because what's the rules? It has
fourth leg.
By the end of the fourth leg, and this is the third one, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think I would have tried to save it to the literal fourth one.
Yeah.
You agree?
I think I definitely would. I just feel like every time I came up on something, I would have been like, I mean, is this that hard? Like, I would have just weighed the risk of, is it that hard? And we're gonna see, like, I don't know, should they have skipped it?
Nope. Okay, so boom. Next morning, the groups are all leaving.
Well, look, 10 minutes for Steve and Lee.
Period.
That's crazy.
No, literally 10 minutes for Stephen and Lee, and then the rest of the groups, they come back. So we're all starting off, and honestly, y'all, they get all mixed up here anyways. So they're all about to start heading off to this next challenge, and this challenge is, bitch, how do I explain this? There's a big ass river, and the big ass river has floating markets on them. So there's literal boats of markets of fruit and shit. So their goal is to drop off and deliver 3 types of fruit to these floating markets that they have to find way in this river that goes on forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a dragon fruit, tangerine,
yep.
and golden melons.
And golden melons.
Specific.
They're quite specific. How do you think we would have did at this?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't look like it's too hard. You just find
right. You would think no one will use their express pass here.
I think the only issue would just be, of course, if you're in the back, it sucks to wait, and also too, what I'm noticing is that you're really just dependent on who the fuck your driver is, who the fuck your checker is. Like, dang, because if your driver is going slow and they choose to go around and take these extra ass paths, like, you can be behind some people for no reason at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Greg and John, they left kind of in this group too, and they ended up kind of staying at this first roadblock for a minute because they blamed on a guy, and it definitely could have been him. Like, he could have just really been going slow and taking extra turns and really placed them further behind.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I think it's important in stuff like this to make sure you're meticulous, because there was times where Greg and John would pass a market they needed to go to, and the person was like, well, we can't turn around. I have to go all the way back around. And it's like, he might just be telling the truth. He might just can't turn this big ass boat around, and they just need to go in that straight little line. There were probably
fuck all that, boy. Turn around.
Right. That's the thing. I feel like at least once they saw that was what he was doing, in the future they could have changed it, but they kind of did. Like, they kept fucking up, missing it, and having to try to be like, oh wait, no, go over there to the left. And he wasn't doing it. It's like, it sucks, but also you gotta be real choosy. You have to make quick decisions. You gotta be looking out. It gets to that because it's a race. And we see it happen with Morgan and Lena. What happened was you had to choose one side of the boat, and if both sides of the boat aren't taken and there's players on this side and players on this side both trying to hand out fruit, you have to wait in line. Yep. Your boat is literally just next to them waiting, and you're just waiting. So Morgan and Lena pulled up to someone, and they had to wait in line. I felt like they should have just waited.
You just wait.
You should have just waited.
This challenge is so straightforward, and I feel like roadblocks are usually just very straightforward. So it's like I just feel like, you can't use an express pass on a detour.
You can use express pass on anything, right? Let me Google it real quick.
But with this challenge, I don't think waiting would have been an issue. We saw a few teams be like, I mean, we shouldn't wait here. And then they went to another place and had to wait. Because basically, if you were not in that first group, which was basically just Annalie and Steve, Ian and Joel and Garrett, Rob and Corey, you were not the first to a place. All four of those teams were like the first teams at a place. And this group two, which is Morgan and Lena, Todd and Ashley, Greg and John, Jocelyn and Victor, all of them end up having to wait, and then you got group three, which is Liam, Yeremi, Mal, Andrea, Robin, and Chelsea. They had to wait even longer. So that really affected when they had to leave, because if you're already in the lead, you're just going to stay in the lead, like if you're already in first. So there's nothing more that you can really do. That's what I'm saying. It's like, go to another one for what? Regardless, you're going to have to go to that next one and dump them anyway. You might as well just stay here and wait, because other teams are going to have to wait too. I don't know. I don't think waiting would be, as long as I can see
everybody has to wait, clearly.
Yeah, if I see a bunch of teams there, I'm not going to trip. I'm not going to trip.
Yeah, I agree. You can use Express Pass on any challenge, detour or a roadblock.
So I definitely would have wanted to use it on a detour, because those detours be hard. These roadblocks be usually straightforward. Do this. It's always do this.
I agree. And my thing was first. That's the thing. When they first started and they had to wait, they didn't decide to use it there. They went somewhere else and then had to wait somewhere else. Y'all wasted so much time. If you're going to use the Express Pass, you have to use it at the beginning. If you wait too long, you've wasted your time anyways, and now you're not really ahead of anybody. They didn't even end up in first place after using it. They were in second after using the Express Pass. If I'm using the Express Pass just to be in second place, what? I don't think so. Like, I don't think I
don't think they was ready to use it. They think the palm was itching to use it. They was looking for any opportunity. They said, bitch, we're not moving. Let's go. Which when they first used it, I was like, okay, maybe this isn't too bad, because like they were saying, it's 15-minute intervals. Like, they were one of the first teams to leave out of here because of that. But then the detour is what slowed them down. And it's like, well, child, maybe you could have used it then and you could have been jumped up higher. But I can also see the argument of, if they didn't use it, they would have been lower in the pack, potentially bottom 3. And like I was saying off the podcast a little bit, usually with these mega legs, well, what we saw last season, if you're towards the bottom, you stay at that bottom.
But if they didn't use it, they haven't to use it.
And that's what you were saying too. So next episode, there probably could be a harder challenge or something else that could have jumped them further. And now they don't have that. So
because
I definitely used it here. This one was very straightforward.
Yeah, it was very straightforward. And honestly, they were there before Joe and Ian. They were like not too. They were in the second group of people.
And if you can use it during a detour, I definitely would use it during a detour because after the detour, bitch, you go straight to the
pit stop.
I walk to a detour.
Here you go. And then that's the thing. Imagine if they did the coconuts. Sure, they're probably after 4 teams, but when you go to the detour, you use it. You're at the pit stop. They would have been done halfway through the episode. They would have been done because what took them the longest was the detour. They would not have They would have taken the same amount of time as everyone did with the. It was just a bad decision, I feel. But hey, we moved. So they decided to do it. And Garrett and Joel end up being done with their entire fruit basket at the same time. Morgan and Lena decide to use their express pass. So Garrett and Joel are done, and then Morgan and Lena are done, and they're all heading towards the little detour place. Around this time, we also see Joe and Ian. They're trying to do their buckets. They're trying to get all of them sent out, and they finish, I think, the oranges or something. And when they're done with them, they forget to get their clue, so they leave. And when they try to come back and get it, they don't let them get the clue since there's someone else unloading. So they're
and this is a time, but this is a time I would need to know what the fuck the rules are. Because baby, pull up next to their boat, and I'm walking on their boat to the woman, give me my clue, and because the boats are right this close to each other. Yeah. They could have easily just walked over there. We already need to give him my clue. Give him a clue. I would have went. I don't care who's throwing fruit. Yeah. I will stop you. I need my clue. Can I have my clue? No, we already did it. Give me my clue. My clue. I'm sorry. Fuck her. Turn around, because basically the boat driver was like, we can't go around. You're gonna have to come back around and just wait for it. Yeah. But it's like, I'm not waiting for that. I would step my long-legged ass. I would tell them to put as close as you can. Because they were pretty close. They were all up on them. This is to yell to them. So, girl, I would have got my clue, baby. It would have been no wait. That's why I need to know.
I know that's right. Me and Lee would have been.
I would need to know the rules, baby, because I would go out. I'm thinking outside the box, baby. This is a race. Wait for a clue.
This is a race. I think we would do really good on this challenge because I can see both of us being like, well, we're just gonna have to wait in line. We would wait in line. We would get our shit done. And we would get on our Zoom.
Period. Get on our Zoom.
I think we would do really good at this part. This wouldn't be nothing for us. But yeah, Joe and Ian had to come back around, end up getting that clue. It was a lie. Boom. The detour. Detour is paper or plastic. Paper. You gotta figure out, damn near, how to create rice paper. It's this mixture. You got to put it on a hot heat plate. You got to mix it around on this bottom. You got to make sure it's super thin. You got to roll it up and then place it on some bamboo tied to, like, girl, what? That's paper. Plastic. Yeah. You have to take a part of a motorcycle immediately now. Yeah. A motorcycle part. Take some vinyl. Make sure you smooth out. We will be making rice.
Making rice down. That's too.
We would have that rice
intricate. That's too specific, girl. I can't even put my screensaver on my phone without bubbles popping up, bitch. I definitely not doing that.
Your screen protector.
Screen protector. I gotta do my screen protector. Like,
no, dead ass. That vinyl would not have gotten touched, and I wouldn't have went there. You see, all of them niggas was sweating.
Now, I do think we could have did rice paper down, bitch. Like,
I think so too. I
could have got the hang of it. I can do pancakes. You can cook pancakes?
I can cook the fuck out of a pancake.
Period, bitch. Can you make omelets when you flatten it out?
The fuck out of an omelet?
Bitch, we would have ate that up.
We would have ate that the fuck up. I don't even think that was that hard. I don't know why people weren't getting it. Some shit is simple. No shit.
Honestly, while I was watching it, I was like, I feel like I could definitely see why people are just such fans of the show. Just for, like, in general, like the traveling, like
culture,
being able to just be on these floating markets, like to be around this culture, this environment that you've never seen before. Like, it has to be fun doing it. But, like, can you really enjoy it while being stressed the fuck out? Who knows? Because I know me. I get really anxious and I get really in my head. I know for a fact I would have just straight tunnel vision. I'm not enjoying shit. I would love the moments where it's like, because it was a 6-hour bus ride when it got to Vietnam, wasn't it? It was a long ass bus ride.
4 hour.
No, it was a 6-hour flight and then a 4-hour bus ride. Moments like that, great. Okay, I can just really look out the window, enjoy the scenery, but like at the floating market, I'm not enjoying.
I would be at the floating market like, look at that,
girl. Get this fruit ready. We're coming up on Dragon. Come on.
I guess I'd be way too lackadaisical to go for Lee.
Oh, that would have pissed me off. Oh, that would have pissed me off. Oh, that would have pissed me
funny?
Off. I don't think anything is funny.
Honestly, I'm not laughing right now. Actually, it's not funny.
I'm tired.
Go.
Why are you?
But no, honestly, Pharaoh, Lee and me, we could not. I'm tired. Lee and me, we could not get on this. Bitch, we would be playing Big Brother out there. Oh, I'd be like, we should try to get Joe and Ian's thing and say we're gonna give it to we can't be doing all that. But anyway, we're not doing plastic, we're doing paper, and so it's Joel and Garrett, and so it's Steve and Anna Lee.
Now Morgan and Lena
didn't make no good decision all game.
Well, she has Lena has experience with it, so maybe this one.
No, when you know what? When we get there, Lena mentions experience, and then I rewind because I was like, okay, what is she really saying? I rewinded it twice because I didn't understand. She's saying she wanted to put vinyl on one of the walls of her business.
She did it herself.
And she did it herself. But no offense, like maybe it is the same. But to me, I was like, of course it's easier to put it on a flat ass wall, up and down.
She did it before.
I think she thought too much into that. Sure, girl, you've heard the word. Congratulations. It's like, I don't know. Like, you haven't done it on a motorcycle. And I think they got too happy at having it. This is another thing. I feel like if there's a lot of things you could have done before or had experience in, and if you just assume you're going to be good at it, you can fuck yourself up. Even Victor and Jocelyn was like, oh, well, we work with rice paper all the time. Girl, they didn't know what the fuck they was doing. Just like Morgan and Lena. Not that they didn't know, but it's such a meticulous.
I thought they ate that challenge up, though.
It took them so long. That's why they were.
I think that's just the longer one in general. That's the
then why'd you choose the longer? I feel like it seems like
the thing is, like for example, it was longer for Liam and Yerimi who ended up doing it because I don't think knew what they were doing at all. They had no experience with it. Joe and Ian and Morgan, I think, got through it quickly because they had experience. That's how I saw it as. Don't take it on my good sis, Lena.
I just feel like with Morgan and Lena, I feel like since they were there so early. I think they thought
they were one of the first three teams, like second to pick.
Yeah, they were second.
They got fifth, so
they were second, and I think they were sixth. And I think you have to think about a lot of things in a detour, which is going to take longer, which is going to be harder. Even if you have experience, to me it was obvious that was the harder one. I feel like if Lee was like, let's do that one, I have experience, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Okay, Lee, if I said I have experience with vinyls. With putting vinyl on the thing, you probably would have been like, okay, but on the wall and you were saying the same thing. That's my point. Y'all are in the race. Hurry up. We don't got time for lying. But it's no shade. Them still my girls. Period. So, boom. We go to the rice paper. We see Joel and Garrett pull up. They're watching the demonstration, and then Steve and Anna Lee pull up soon after them. And when they start attempting to make it, it's very clear that it's a learning curve, bitch. Because they're making them too thick. It's thick as hell. Anna Lee was getting stressed. I was like, what's happening?
This was a really, really interesting, I feel like, dynamic too. Like seeing with Steve and Anna Lee, because like she got stressed real quick, and then you have Steve just like, I mean, it's okay. Just take it off. And we saw it in the last challenge too with the Palmettos. It was like, all right, well, let's just get the boat and get the water.
Oh, yeah.
I think he always just so calm. Like, he's always so calm.
He is. And Anna Lee, she was getting very... It was weird. It was interesting. It was interesting. I think they balance each other out well because they see Corey and Rob pull up. Mind you, Steve and Anna Lee are in third at this point. I mean, yeah, they're in third. Corey and Rob, they see them walking to the into the detour area, and Anna Lee's like, should we switch? And I was like, wait, hold your horses. Like, I saw how frantic she could get. So hopefully it can continuously be that Steve can calm her down. Because if they're down to 4 teams, like let's say they're down to 4 teams or 5 teams, and Annalise getting overwhelmed, it's going to be harder to calm her down in a intense situation. Like it's top 5, and I need you to calm her down. So that's my worry with them. Like you have to have some of your own. He can't, and also he can't focus on calming you down when he has to be calm too. You remember that team? What was his name? It was a daughter and a father, and they was Black, Jamaican. And it was last season. And she got really, really kind of frantic on that last leg. It was a mega leg too. That's funny.
It was a mega leg.
It was a mega leg, and she had got frantic. And we were like, they probably could have won if she didn't just get so overwhelmed, because they could have not won, but they could have not lost because they weren't that far behind.
And Sharik, I love them.
Yeah, I love them too. But it kind of reminded me of that, because I'm thinking, if there's a second mega leg and it's only 6 of y'all and y'all are in the back, are you gonna get too frantic, like too flustered? But we'll see. They're doing good now, and hopefully they won't.
Your team Texas. Shout out to Texas, prepping for the Texas girls.
Period.
That's gonna be us.
That is going to be us. So boom, we go back to the floating district, and basically we see everybody finishing up. Joe and Ian, they get their shit done. And then everyone is just finishing up all of their tasks. So all of the teams are heading towards this detour, and they're going to start picking which ones they're going to. So Todd and Ashley, they choose paper. Joe and Ian and Yeremi and Liam both choose plastic. Now, Joe and Ian, I know not to question them. So I didn't give a fuck that they chose plastic. But when Liam and Yeremi chose it, I'm like, is that not the harder one? I get that y'all are men, but damn.
And it really just gave, this is going to be more our wheelhouse. Because it was,
yeah, they literally said it. I was literally thinking the same thing. In what way? But I get it. It's like, oh, they know what a motorcycle is. And it's like, that's not enough.
That's what it gave.
That's not
I've worked on motorcycles before.
Mind you, at that point, they're in 7th place. You see what they got. Don't pick that damn vinyl. And motorcycle.
That's like, it really is always just a harder one. Like,
it was a hard. I think it's rare occasions when you get to the end of the towards the end of the game, I felt like both those detours were hard. I like, from what I remember, like towards the end, it's like they started evening out. Like, ooh,
this is just episode 3. This shit gets harder. You're gonna have to memorize Braille. It's gonna get crazy.
Or recite an alphabet in German. Like, choose one of those. And right now, it's like, really, like, wrap a piece in plastic, or make some. I don't know.
It's giving rip me out the plastic.
Yeah, I don't know. So, boom, when we went to paper, it really shows that Rob and Corey are just going to be that team, because they were getting it immediately. They were immediately eating it up again. And they do this all the time. Same with Joe and Ian.
But I was gagged here. Oh, you go.
No, go.
I was gagged here because Stephen and Lee really started picking it up. Like, Joel and Garrett came in eating it up, but then Steve and Anna, they ended up leaving first, and they took the lead. Like, literally. I was like, oh shit, where did that come from?
Literally. They were eating it up. Corey and Rob immediately got to it. And then we saw some teams of Todd and Ashley. And Ashley they had just got there, and Ashley was like, I don't like cooking at all. So I'm not going to like this at all.
She's so funny for that. She's like, I do cook. I just don't like it.
I just don't like it.
She's hilarious. And then earlier, every time Todd goes somewhere, he'd be like, are you fast? Are you fast?
He does.
They are hilarious.
I like that.
Honestly, I feel like they low-key give me Louisa Michelle energy.
Period.
They just be having fun, making jokes.
They are having fun, and they keep talking about that too. I love it. That is what Louisa Michelle.
Maybe because they're a married couple. Maybe married couples just give that.
Yeah, maybe so. It's like a romance, we're here together, and we want to make sure we enjoy and savor this. So, boom. I know that's right. We hop to the plastic again. Mm-hmm. Ian says at first, Ian is like, I did this before. And he was like, okay, I watched my dad do this before, actually. And it's like, period. But Joe and Ian are very good at everything they do. And they ended up eating it up. Ian was like, we just don't have to be meticulous. We're just going to have to sit here, and we're going to have to get it done. Very slowly, slowly.
That's another reason why we wouldn't be able to do plastic, girl. Because I would have started getting stressed. Yeah. People would have started getting
that would have been so hard. We would have lost.
Down.
If we chose plastic, which we wouldn't.
Down. Which we wouldn't. Thank God. I think that's what really would help us up. Either like because a lot of people in these earlier rounds they go home because I feel like they choose something that's like you low-key shouldn't have been choosing that.
Out of your wheelhouse.
I don't think I would be given that.
As easy as possible. And we're both procrastinators. We're gonna choose whatever is gonna take easiest. That's what you should do. You should get out what's quickest. So period. I like this next scene because this next scene at Plastic, we see a bunch of teams pull up and a bunch of teams start arguing because Jocelyn and Victor are trying to do it. And Victor is the one who's actually pouring it in and trying to get it done. And Jocelyn is like, that's way too much. And Victor was like, oh, okay, but let me finish it out. She's like, no, take it out. And he's like, I can't. I have to wait for it to heat up and it's calmed down. And you start seeing Jocelyn and Victor finally getting a little bit.
I kind of hated seeing this from my faves. Like, they was really beefing. Even earlier at the thing with the fruits, he was like, don't get sloppy. I'm not getting sloppy. Like, they quick to clock each other. They really are.
It is. But they also got lost trying to find it a little bit before.
Yeah, this is a really bad leg for them. I would hate if they leave. Like, that's the the whole bottom three. I'm like, shit.
Mm-hmm. Literally. Also, I remember seeing Robin. Robin's trying to put the batter on the thing, and it's spilling all over the fucking pan.
Girl.
The hot ass pan. And then the judge was like, hold on.
He was getting bad.
And she kept pouring. And Robin literally kept pouring. She was like, well, it's like, no, stop. What is the fuck? That was hilarious. So at this time, people are starting to arrive to the motherfucking pit stop. Y'all just not doing the tour. But we go to the pit stop. Steve and Anna Lee, they're the first ones there. Ate this leg up. She got that 545 and didn't look back, bitch. I know that's right. So they pull up to the pit stop. And Phil is like, oh my God, are y'all happy? They're like, yeah. They're like, he's like, you're the first team. But the race is still going. Get going, bitch. And it's like, what?
And I was literally saying, like, I feel like imagine you a team and you like at the bottom, you're not last, you're like 9th, 10th. And you're like, damn, thank God it's over. We've been struggling the entire time. It's not over.
I feel like that's how it was. Actually, not leaving Remy because they thought they were doing. But for Jocelyn and Victor, I think that's how it was.
Yeah.
Because Jocelyn and Victor were like, yeah,
okay,
probably lost. But that's like, oh well. And he's like, actually, you're still in.
That's hilarious. She was like, I mean, it was fun while it lasted. Jocelyn is
sick. Whole time, you need to get going. Actually,
that's me. Jocelyn is me. Oh, girl, well, we lost. Yeah. Sarah, let's go.
She was like, Jocelyn was killing me at the end. She was like, well, we clearly lost at this point. And he was like, well, you don't know till you get to the mat. And she was like, well, we've clearly lost. We're the last ones here. He's like, well, you don't know. And she's like, well, I know we lost. And it's like, y'all didn't even lose. First of all, they wouldn't have lost if this was just a regular leg. But it's not. And you got to keep going. I would hate to have to keep going.
Yeah, I'd be so tired. Oh, God.
I would hate, you know what I would hate the most? Not knowing it's a mega leg because they didn't know. And then doing the whole thing, thinking you're that relief when you're finished. Oh, I just finished this big ass leg. You're not even fucking done. I hate you. Joel and Garrett pull up. They get second.
Yeah.
This is when at Plastic, and this is the thing. At this point, I think 3 or 4 people are done with paper. But at Plastic, Morgan and Lena are just now getting done. And that's why I'm like, damn, y'all were the second person to y'all's location, but y'all are the 5th or 6th team done. So that's really what set them back, just the choice they made, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And then at paper, we see fucking Mal, Melania, and Andrea.
Yep.
When they arrived, they had no more teams, stations left. Mm-hmm. So they literally had to wait for a team to finish just for them to be able to grab one. And I was so scared for my sisters. Yeah. I was so scared for them. I was so scared because I was like, no, they cannot lose.
At that point, they were the last people to a detour. They were the last ones at the Plastic, at the paper. Everyone was doing it. And Liam and Uremi, of course, were doing Plastic already. So, but they decided to just wait for one of the people to get done and then you do it. I don't know, that's right, period. Mm-hmm. Boom. Okay, so Morgan and Lena get done, and then Joe and Ian, they're like, they're noticing that they need to switch papers, all of this other shit. That's another thing I didn't like about the vinyl. there was like every single team had to switch the color they were doing because the color they chose initially was like not working. The bubbles were showing up when they were trying to get it checked. The white on the paper would show up when they were trying to get it checked, and it's like that's just not. It just wasn't working. It literally just wasn't working. Oh, this was also the scene. I hate to be a whore, but I guess it was hot in the thing or something. But Liam and Uremi, they were doing their plastic, and they were sweating, drenched in sweat. And they was like, after this, we're just gonna have to use the sweat and just use all the sweat on us. I was like, oh my god, you need to use the sweat on me. I know that's right. Period. Ciao.
I have written down they really just winging it, and you could tell they were just having fun. What if we just do it like this? It's like okay,
Kings. But at paper, we see Milena and Andrea. They are eating it the fuck up. I was so happy because I was scared as fuck. They were finna be home. I was like, they're going home. I was literally like, they're finna go home. They have to wait. They're in last. But they start eating it up because they were able to watch them do it over and over again, the little example. So when they start doing the paper, they're eating it up. But Victor and Jocelyn are still struggling. They can't lift the paper up off the thing. They didn't lift one paper up properly. They have to use another piece to like help lift them up every time. I'm like, why are they doing so bad? No other team had that problem. I was like, what's happening? It was so weird. I was like, what's going on? But it got to the point where it's literally just Andrea and Milena, Jocelyn and Victor, and Greg and John at that one. And then Joe and Ian and Liam and Uremi at the plastic. So it's only like 5 teams left. Joe and Ian get finished with the plastic. And then Andrea and Milena, shout out to them, get finished real quick with the paper. So it's like down to 3-2 teams. Everybody's arriving at the pit stop, getting told that they're motherfucking, it's a mega leg. And when we get to Morgan and Lena arriving at the pit stop, they're shook.
Yeah.
He's like, y'all are the 6th team. And they're gagged. And I think it's because they went to plastic. No one else was there. They were the first ones in and the first ones out. So I think they were thinking, oh, I mean, we were the first ones here. We're the first ones gone. Clearly, the other detour probably taking just as long. But when they found out they were 6th place, they were gagged. And it's like, y'all didn't do that.
So they used the express pass with the hope of being, improving their position, and they went down. So
why you laugh? But no, they did.
It's just like, that's unfortunate. It's very
unfortunate. And it's a mega leg. So it's like you really, really wasted it. You wasted it.
Like I said, it also could be a blessing a little bit because they really could have been in bottom 3. So as long as they can maintain this position with this mega leg, I think they're good. They're good. Especially because they only have one more leg. Now, unless leg 4 is hard as fuck, and then they start struggling, and it's like, oh shit, y'all Loki probably should have waited. But
what if this mega leg starts getting hard though? Or they start getting flustered, or they start getting frustrated. Like Joe and Ian are pretty good, and Greg and John are pretty good. I can see people passing them up. Like I'm kind of getting scared a little bit. But we'll have to see. I'm actually kind of excited for this next episode because I don't want none of the bottom 3 teams to lose. So a part of me is hoping they don't.
Yeah.
And a big ass switch up happens and somebody get lost on a train or something. I don't know. But the rest of the team start finishing it up. It's just Jocelyn and Victor at paper, and Liam and Uremi at plastic. Both of those teams finally get done, after forever. And we see Jocelyn and Victor get in their taxi, and Liam and Uremi literally are like, oh, it's a taxi right there. And they try to get in Jocelyn and Victor's taxi. And it's like, well, fuck, you're losing. Right there, I was like, oh, they lost.
They don't think so.
They lost. And they don't think so. They're in their taxi and they're like, oh my God, I think we like increased finally, we're not going to get 7th place again. We finally can get 6th
not
or
this Kings. Not this Kings.
Wow, y'all really are just fine. And that's all. There's nothing else there, huh? Because what? They thought they were doing good, but I really think it was the plastic because Morgan and Lena also were very gagged. So I'm assuming they just thought, oh, it's just 3 of us here. We're eating it up. And it's like, no, bitch.
Everybody pick paper.
And it was easier. And I, you know what? I remember on paper on the Detour letter, it said, make 12 of these things. I'm pretty sure they probably thought like making 12 of that shit is probably hard as fuck. And it's like, I mean, not when you get the hang of it. So I think that's what happened. But eventually, Jocelyn and Victor, they think they done lost. Even though they knew Liam and Urimi, that's the thing, they're hilarious. Because they knew Liam and Urimi were trying to get in their taxi, and they was like, I know we probably lost. It's all good. And it's like, no, y'all didn't lose, but you got to still keep going.
Maybe it was reverse psychology. That was like,
Literally. And Phil was like, what play? And he's so sick. Because I bet he knows they don't think they're fucking losing. He's like, what place do you guys think you're in? And they're like, well, you know what? We don't really know. And he's like, well,
you're in last. Dead last. You're losers. But thankfully, it's a mega leg.
But that's not that does nothing for me. If that was me, like Lee,
I love how they look at it like, okay, all right.
Yeah. So if we pull up and he's like, well, y'all are dead last. And he says, but you gotta keep going. Keep going to be last.
Baby, we're dead ass going home. That's
we're dead ass leaving.
Like, no.
Lee, we can't give up.
Girl.
Lee.
Anyway.
We just saw Jocelyn and Victor. We just saw them.
What they gotta do with me?
Saw them. We can catch up.
What they gotta do with me? First of all, we'd be top 5, girl. I wouldn't put that on.
This wouldn't even apply.
That's the guy. No, we would have been, girl, 545. We would have been
at the next roadblock.
545 with Steve and Lee.
Boom. This was a cute episode, though. I really did enjoy the episode. I'm here for it.
I'm excited how to see how the end up. I really hope. I don't want Andrea Milena. I don't want Victor or Jocelyn. And I damn sure don't want Liam and Urimi to go.
Okay, but Lee, that's everybody at the bottom.
Exactly. But
so mainly, let's say you can have your best thing happen and somebody just you lose. We're gonna say the name at the same time. If somebody just had to lose.
I'm not gonna do it. Because it's something
Chelsea, you can go home. Bow out, sister.
Wait, who you said?
Robin and Chelsea.
Ooh. I mean, slight spill. No. I'm sorry. But in general, Liam and Urimi can't go. We can't lose them that early. If they go,
I need USA 3 to come out.
Challenge USA 3, they better get a call. They should have a spot already locked.
You know what spot they need to be on?
What?
They need to be on the next version of this.
Bryce Isaiah?
Call them the fuck
put them on the cover of the Zaddy calendar 2024.
Maybe not, because he's always going to have to be on the wall instead of being like a whole month.
You're right.
So actually choose
Urimi January, Liam February. Honestly, they should just alternate between the both of them.
The entire multiple different
all 12 months, including January of 2025. Yes.
13. And the cover. It can be both of them. Oh, I don't know. The back, everything. Actually, just make OnlyFans. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to be covering the challenge, USA, the rest of the race, all that. And thank you for keeping it real. We out. Bye.